राम राम हरे हरे हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भगवत गीता श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ निताय गौरंगो निताय गौरंगो निताय गौरंग बोलो गौर हरि जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव गौर हरि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll sing this beautiful song written by Srinivas Acharya, which is called Shat Goswami Ashtakam. Yesterday it was the Tirobha Tithi of Srinivas Acharya, but unfortunately you could not have the class yesterday. So we'll sing this song written by Srinivas Acharya, and it was also very relevant. Why? Because we are studying Nectar of Devotion. It's written by Rupa Goswami. So you understand the mood of Rupa Goswami and what did Rupa Goswami and other Goswamis do? In the words of Srinivas Acharya, whose Tirobha Tithi it was yesterday. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhe Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nirmatsarau Pujitau Sri Chaitanya Kripabharau Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarakau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Sri Jiva Gopalakau Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipunau Sadharma Samstapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Manyau Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattalikayo Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugo Sri Jiva Gopalakau Sri Gauranga Gunana Varnana Vidhau Shradhyanya Samvyadmito Apotapanikrintanaŭ tanubhೃತಾಂ Govindaganamృತैः Anandambudhivardanaikanipūnौ Kaivalyanistarikau Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Sri Jiva Gopalakau Yaktva Turnamasheshamandalapati Shrenim Sadatu Chavat Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya Kau Pina Kantashritau Tobi Bhavarasamrita Bilahari Kallola Magnau Muhur Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ पूजात् कोकिलहंससारसगणा तीरे मयूराकुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलविटपा श्रीयुक्ता वृन्दावने राधा कृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतौ जीवार्तधौ यौ मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ जीव गोपालकौ संख्यापूर्वक नामगाननटिभिः कालावसानिः कृतौ निद्राहारविहारकादिविजितौ चाद्यन्त दीनौ च यौ राधा कृष्ण गुणस्मृतेर्मधुरिमा नन्देन सम्मोहितौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ राधाकुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे चावंशीवटे प्रेमोन्मादवशादशेषदशया ग्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सधा गायन्तौ जगदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ हे राधे व्रजदेविके च ललिते हे नन्द सोनो कुटः श्रीगोवर्धन कल्पपादपतले कालिन्दीवने कुटः दोषान्ताविधि सर्वतो व्रजपुरे एतैर्महाविभलौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ षड्गोस्वामीज वृंदावन की जय। श्री श्रीनिवासाचार्य तिरुभाव महामहोत्सवा की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जगद्धात्री पूजा महामहोत्सवा की जय। नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन की जय। स्वरूप गोस्वामी की जय। अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। So thank you all very much for joining in for our Nectar of Devotion series. Today we're going to start with the third chapter. So we have our speaker, His Grace Abhinav Gauranga Prabhu, who's joined us. Thank you, Prabhu. Over to you. So today we'll be completing the third chapter. Prabhu is going to take us from the beginning till the end and also summarize the entire discussions. So we are very grateful to Abhinav Gauranga Prabhu. Over to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Danat Pranams.
Thank you so much, Mataji. First of all, my gratitude to Her Grace Medhavini Mataji for such a nice and melodious kirtan, and especially, special thanks for, singing the Shad Goswami Ashtakam, right? So this is very, very auspicious. Just to invoke the auspiciousness at the beginning of the session, I think, nothing better than that, right? To start the session with that. So, like, I have been given the task of, finishing off the third chapter. I presume that till sixth paragraph, I think something was discussed till in the last session. So we'll do a quick recap, like what we had discussed so far, and then from there I'll take further. Okay, so I'll just like to share my screen, and the agenda will be I'll just try to finish off the PPTs which I have prepared, and then if there are any questions and if the time permits, I'll take those questions. In case we run short of time and you still have questions, please feel free to drop to get my number from Her Grace Medhavini Mataji, and then you can drop me a WhatsApp message anytime. Right, I'll try my best to get back to you. Okay, so I'll share my screen now. Can someone confirm if you are able to see?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you can do the full screen mode so that we can see the full screen. Yeah. Thank you. So as discussed, we'll be starting with para 6 till the end. Okay. So as usual, like before starting the session, I generally always do this, that I dedicate this session to our founder Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. If Prabhupada was not here, I wouldn't have been here, right? So I owe a lot to him, and whatever I'm going to say in this session, I'll just merely repeat what I have learned from my Siksha Gurus. I'll merely repeat what I have read in the books of Srila Prabhupada and what I have heard in the lectures of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so let's get started. So we'll do a quick recap. Like till now, we must have studied that what are the three categories of devotees, right? The first class devotees, second class devotees, and the neophytes, right? So I'll just quickly brush up the concepts that the first class devotee has a very clear understanding of the ultimate goal of human life, right? First class devotee is very, very, learned in all the Vedic scriptures, and he or she can present very strong arguments, as far as the Vedic scriptures are concerned, or the references in the Vedic scriptures are concerned. And most importantly, in order to become a first-class devotee, you first have to become a first-class disciple, right? That a first-class devotee is a first-class disciple in the sense that he or she follows the regulative principles very nicely, whatever has been mentioned in the Shastras, and as well as like under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, they serve their spiritual master very nicely, right, in the most humble mood. And one very nice example I would like to quote here, it's related to Lord Ramchandra. So when he was, when actually Vishwamitra actually took Lord Ramchandra to Mother Sita's Swamvar, right? And everyone was seated there. King Janak was there on the throne, and all the big shots, the Kshatriyas had come to try and lift that bow of Lord Shiva, right, in order to win the hand of Mother Sita. And all of them tried, and each and every one of them failed miserably, right? What to speak about lifting the bow? They were not even able to move that bow. The same very bow which Mother Sita used to just carry it around, just like a toy from one place to another, right? And it was, such a remarkable bow. And when Vishwamitra Muni, when everyone failed actually, then Vishwamitra Muni looked at Lord Ram and he said, "Son Ram, please go and have a look at the bow." Now, if there had been a second class disciple or a third class disciple, I'll just say like how a behavior of a second class disciple or a third class disciple is. A second class disciple would have just gone to the bow. He would have taken down notes. Okay, the dimensions of the bow is like this, and it's made of wood or whatever, and then he would have brought back the notes. Okay, Guru Maharaj, you told me to look at the bow. I just looked at the bow. I have brought some notes with me, regarding how that bow is made, particular bow is made. A third class disciple, on the other hand, would be one level higher. He would have just turned to Vishwamitra and said that, why should I go and have a look at the bow? You are the spiritual master. You should lead by example. Go and you have a look at the bow yourself, right? But just look at Lord Ram, right? He went towards the bow. He had a nice look at it. He just felt it by touching it with his hands. And then slowly he lifted the bow very easily, without any effort. Effortlessly he lifted the bow and just went ahead and broke the bow.
right? So this is the quality of a first-class disciple, that he is fully aware of the mood of the spiritual master, right? He should be able to read between the lines, what spiritual master is saying. Normally what happens is that when the spiritual masters, they speak, they do not give a very clear-cut instructions every time, right? Sometimes we, as a disciple, we have to use our intelligence, right, to understand that what is the mood of the spiritual master, and you have to act according to that, and that is the sign of a first class disciple. So in order to become a first class devotee, you have to be a first class disciple first, right? So this is the first thing. Second is the second class devotee. Now the second class devotees are just little lower than the first class devotees. They may not be very well versed in the Vedic scriptures, or what the conclusions of the Vedic scriptures are, but at the same time they have a firm faith in what the scriptures say. Yes. So like, no matter how many scholarly arguments you may present in front of them against the Vedic scriptures, their faith will not be daunted. They will be very firmly fixed that, okay, I believe in this. I may not be very well versed in the scriptures, I may not be able to argue giving the references of the shastras, but still I believe that what is written in the shastras is correct, and I am just following that. So this is the sign of a second class devotee. Similarly, the neophytes. So neophytes are people who are very new to Krishna consciousness or any spiritual practice, bona fide spiritual practice for that matter. And obviously, just like second class devotees, they are also not very well versed with the Vedic scriptures. Very very easily they cannot give references to the Shastra. But at the same time, their faith in the spiritual practices or in the Vedic scriptures is not very firm, actually, right? If someone comes and gives any, logical arguments or scholarly arguments against the Vedic scriptures, their faith will be daunted, like फिसल जाते हैं वो लोग बहुत आराम से. So those are the class of neophytes, right? So these are the three classes of devotees that we had, that has been mentioned in the around sixth or seventh paragraphs of Nectar of Devotion. Now, moving to the classification of neophytes, right? So in the classification, the neophytes can also be classified into 4 types, right? And this has been confirmed by none other than Lord Krishna himself. We will see that reference a little later, once I discuss this particular slide, and then we'll move on to that particular reference, okay? So the neophytes are classified into 4 types. First one is that one who is distressed. They are in some sort of a distress or suffering, like physical or mental or emotional suffering. They are going through that. So that is that is one class of people who actually turn towards Krishna or Lord Vishnu, for any help. Second one is the one who is in the need of money, right? They are very, very, struggling financially, and so such people, they turn towards the Lord for help, right? And then third one who is inquisitive, right? They just want to know that what's going on. Some people are there, like, who are not very interested in spiritual practices, but when they come across any ISKCON center or ISKCON temple, they're very fascinated. कि वहाँ क्या party चल रहा है क्या, उस type का ऐसा करके, they just want to go inside. Of people are singing, dancing, or something is going on interesting, right? So like that. So those people are called as inquisitive people. Just they are out of curiosity, they come. That what's going on. I just want to know more, right? And then the fourth one is the people who are wise, right? So those people also ultimately, turn to the Lord, and then they become the pure devotees of the Lord. So example wise, like one who is in distress, the best example is the Gajendra. And here also I'd just like to, take some time to explain how merciful the Lord is, when this Gajendra pastime was happening, right? We all know that what happened, right? The Gajendra was, very huge elephant, and he had a big family. They all went to a river in order to drink water or, take a bath. And then what happened that there was a crocodile in that river, and he just, grabbed the foot of Gajendra and started dragging him in the water, right? So on account of the pious, deeds which Gajendra had performed in his previous lifetimes, there was, subconsciously, he was remembering all the prayers that he had recited, in the previous life. He has recited for Lord Vishnu at that time, right? But since it was subconscious and he was in a lot of distress, like this, fight was happening with the crocodile, and that fight actually lasted for a very long time. He tried his best in the beginning, but then when he saw that, okay, this crocodile is way too strong when, he's in water, so then he started offering those prayers. And these prayers, which were hidden in a dormant state, within his heart, they started manifesting, right? And the most important thing to note here is that when Gajendra was offering these prayers, at no point of time he specifically mentioned the name of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. He was simply singing the glories of the Lord, right? The characteristics of the Lord. Yes. And just see how merciful the Lord is. The family members of Gajendra were all around, standing on the river bank. They wanted to help him, but they were not capable of helping him because they were not just, as strong as the crocodile which was there in the water. And also they were scared of the crocodile. So they, didn't have the courage to come and help him out. The demigods were also watching this fight, actually, which was the struggle which was going on. But they didn't want to help. Why? Because they thought that, okay, he's calling out to someone, but he's not, taking my name. He's not calling, oh, Indra, help me, oh, Varuna, help me, or, something like that, right? So they just ignored those prayers. But just look at the Lord Vishnu, when he heard these prayers, no name was being uttered in those prayers, right? He just, matched all the characteristics. Okay, he's singing, okay, this particular characteristics, okay, it looks like he's trying to call me. Okay, second characteristic, okay, I think this also matches with my nature, so I think it suits me. Third one also, this also matches with my nature. So just say that. So after just going through all the prayers, and the Lord thought that, okay, I think he's calling me, although he's not taking my name, but he's calling me. And out of that mercy, he just, summoned his vehicle, Garuda, and just, went down and saved him. Right. So this is how he saved Gajendra, and Gajendra became a pure devotee after that. Right. So this is one example of a neophyte who is in distressed state, who calls out for the Lord. Lord helps him, and he gets converted into a pure devotee. Similarly, people who are in the need of money. Right. An example is the Dhruva Maharaj. Right. When he was insulted by his mother, his stepmother, actually. So he was so angry that he wanted a kingdom which was far superior than his grandfather. And his grandfather is Lord Brahma, right? So he is a secondary creator of this entire universe, right? So he wanted a kingdom bigger than that. So what can be bigger than that? Yes. So, but yeah, I think we all know that within 6 months, like he, prayed to the Lord so intensely that Lord himself came down and, blessed him with a Dhruv Loka, right? And he also said at that time that, okay, I'll just, fulfill all your material desires, but from next time, please be conscious of what you're asking for. Right? I cannot give you something bigger than Lord Brahma's kingdom, right? So this is, how a person or how a neophyte devotee who is in the need of money, when he or she turns to the Lord helps him, and then they become a pure devotee, right? Similarly, the inquisitive people, the examples are the sages of Naimisharanya, right? Because they were very, very, eager to know what is written in the Srimad Bhagavatam. When Lord Krishna had departed from this planet, so this, and Parikshit Maharaj was also gone. So this world was in an utter chaos, right? Because it was taken over by Kali. And these sages of Naimisharanya were very, very worried, right? What will happen to the people, who are staying in this age of Kali Yuga? How will they be saved? Right? And then because of their inquisitiveness, they, came to know through Shaunuk Muni that, okay, maybe Lord Krishna is not here, but he has left back Srimad Bhagavatam, which is nothing but literary incarnation of Krishna himself. Yes. So, in that way, the inquisitive devotees, they also became very pure devotees of the Lord. And finally, one who is very wise, and the examples are the 4 Kumaras, right? So 4 Kumaras were very wise right from the day they appeared, right? Lord Brahma actually wanted them to go out and help him in, procreation, and, help him in expanding all the life forms within this material universe. But at that time itself, they were so wise, they were in so much of knowledge that they simply renounced everything. They said, no, my dear father, we don't want to, get into all these nonsense. I'm just going. We are just going, and we will just pray. So they were not aware of, like who is Lord Vishnu or who is Lord Krishna, right? But they just went, went, and then they started their sadhana. They, got a very nice expertise in the Ashtanga Yoga system. And then finally, when one day they went to Vaikuntha and had the darshan of the Lord, that the smell of the tulsi leaves which were offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, that was so mesmerizing for them that just by that smell they were, converted into pure devotees of the Lord. Yes. So this is the fourth Kumara. And last 2 points, which are very, very important, that all the 4 categories of neophytes are accepted as pious Mahatmas by Krishna himself, right? Because they directly approach to the Lord for help, right? Even for material benefits. Because, just for example, understand this. For example, I'm a son of if I'm a son of a billionaire, right? And my father has a lot of employees, maybe a general manager or a vice president who is working for, the organization which he owns, right? If I am in a need of money, what should I do? Should I go and ask my father directly, or should I go and ask my general manager or vice president, right? If I go and ask the general manager or vice president or any other employee of my father, people will say that you will feel that what kind of nonsense is this? I mean, this is such a stupid thing to do, right? Your father is a billionaire, go directly ask him, right? So similar is the case here, that we all are actually, part and parcels of Krishna, right? Even if we are in a need of something material, why should we go and pray to some demigods, which anyways Krishna has condemned in the Bhagavad Gita, right? That unnecessary prayer for the demigods is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So we should directly go and approach him, and therefore people who approach Krishna directly are considered as Mahatma by him. Yes. So this is one very important point, and all the 4 classes of neophytes end up becoming first-class devotees of the Lord. There is absolutely no doubt about that, right? So if any person who is a neophyte, who is new to Krishna consciousness, or who is chanting for the first time, please have some patience and have that full confidence that what you are doing, that you are on the right path. Just keep practicing very nicely. Have faith in the process. Have faith in your spiritual master, and they will see you through. Right. So these are the classifications of neophytes. So moving on to the next slide. Where do we get this particular reference? That there are 4 classes of neophytes. It's in the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter 16th verse, right? Chaturvidya bhajante mam jana sukritinurjuna artho jigyasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. That means, O best among Bharatas, 4 kind of pious men began to render devotional service unto me. Who are they? The distressed, desirer of wealth, inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So here is the reference that we get. Okay. Moving on. Krishna likes intelligent folks. Yes. I mean, and we all like intelligent folks. Being part and parcels of Krishna, right? This is coming from Krishna himself. Right? So out of the 4 types of neophytes, one who is very wise is very dear to him, and Krishna has confirmed this in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? So this is not a statement which has been made up. Right? This has been given by Krishna himself. Yes. And second, a wise devotee, because why does Krishna like wise devotees? Because a wise devotee does not want anything in return for the devotional service that he or she is doing. So from the very beginning, the basic principle of attachment with Krishna is pure love, right? And that is the reason why Krishna likes the intelligent folks. He likes intelligent devotees. Okay. So moving on, and this is where we get the references. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, shloka number 19. Bahunam janmanam pe jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many, many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So any of you sitting here who is having a doubt on yourself, please, dispel all those doubts immediately, right? Each and every single person who is sitting here in this meeting right now on a working day, on a Tuesday, right, is a very, very special soul, right? And it's not that you have, come to Krishna consciousness just by chance. There is nothing by chance or coincidence in this universe, right? Everything is ultimately the resultant of your either pious deeds or bad deeds, right? So after many, many lifetimes, actually, we have done all that grinding in our previous lives. And that is the reason why we are sitting here today. Yes. So be very, very thankful to the Lord, to Krishna, consider yourself very, very fortunate, that you have got this kind of association. You have got the knowledge now that what you have to do with this, human form of life. How can you make this human form of life perfect, right? And then how can you break this cycle of life, death, and rebirth and go back home, back to Krishna? Yes. So please make the full use of it, and please keep attending the sessions like this. It's very, very heartening to see like more than 35 people joining on a working day. Okay. So moving on. So second reference which we can see. So in this particular verse, Krishna tells who are the four kinds of people who never surrender unto Krishna, right? Namam dushkriti no mudha prapadyante naradhama maya aprita jnana asuram bhavam ashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankinds, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Right? So those who are foolish, that means they are considered as like compared to donkeys or the beasts of burden. So you've seen a donkey, like the master actually puts lot of burden on its back, and then makes it do every possible hard work that is possible, and in the end, like it is given a very meager or a humble meal, right, to eat a little grass or some dried leaves or something, right? So we all are like that. If you see in this age of Kali Yuga, every day very nicely we get up in the morning, we dress ourselves very nicely, and very proudly we wear the badge of our office that okay, I work for so and so organization, and then we are off to the office. And what is happening there? We are grinding just like donkeys. We are just grinding for 10 or 12 hours a day, and just like sometimes the master hangs a carrot in front of the donkey, right? And the donkey thinks that okay, just by walking he will one day he will be able to reach that carrot. So that's exactly what is happening, because at the end of every appraisal cycle we all are frustrated. Let's face it. Yes, we all are frustrated. Yeah. So such people who are very, very attached to the results of their actions are considered as foolish, and those people, they never surrender to Krishna. Yes. Second, those who are lowest among mankind, atheistic people who do not have any faith in spirituality or in the existence of God, such kind of people, they never surrender to Krishna. And those whose knowledge have been stolen by illusion or by Maya. So such people are very, very intelligent actually. If you see materially, like most of the scientists, that I'm not saying all the scientists are the same. Some of them have been very good devotees as well, but most of them they dream of something which is very, very weird. And for example, that one day science and technology will make so much of an advancement that people will stop dying. They can prevent death, right? But Krishna has confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, verse number 13, Tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namoyati, right? That after one quits his body, dehantara praptir, that means that death is imminent. The day when any material thing is created, at that time only the expiry date has been stamped on that particular thing or person. Yes. So we cannot escape death, but the scientists are there who are trying all these things, that they are trying to create life forms in laboratories, or they are just trying to reverse the aging process, and all these nonsense is going on, right? So such people are called Maya Aprita Jnana. That means their intelligence has been stolen by Maya, right? They are intelligent folks. If they want, they can utilize that intelligence in the right direction. They can channelize it in the right direction and become first-class devotees of the Lord. But they will never do that. Rather, they will, go and try to do something, really demoniac, right? So such people are known as Maya Aprita Jnana, and they will never surrender unto Krishna, right? So moving on. And finally, one more reference which I would like to give here. Why Krishna likes intelligent folks. Here it is, chapter number 7, verse number 17. Tesham jnani nityukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani notyartham aham sacha mama priya. Of these, one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, right? For I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me. So this is the most clear-cut, statement given by Krishna, that for people who are engaged in pure devotional services, Krishna is very dear to them, and they are very dear to Krishna. So Krishna likes intelligent folks. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Right? So moving on. Knowledge is liberating, right? So why knowledge is liberating? If we see that what happened in the battle of Kurukshetra, right? Initially, when just before the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, we all know, right, that Arjuna instructed Krishna to take the chariot between the two armies so that he can, just see that who all have come to fight with them, right? And when he saw that his own grandfather, his own spiritual master, his brothers, his friends, and relatives, they were standing against him in the battlefield, he became so nervous that his mouth started to dry up, his hands started shaking, and the Gandiva bow which he was holding was, began slipping off his hands, right? So all this was happening. Why? Because at that time Arjuna was in the body consciousness. That he was thinking that okay, he is Arjuna, he is a Kshatriya, he is a Pandava, and the person standing opposite to him is Bhishma Pitama, who is the grandfather, Dronacharya, who is the spiritual master, like that. So this is known as bodily concept of life, right? That we associate ourselves with this body so much that everything around, then we start associating with those things with ourselves. Okay, like my wife, my kids, my office, my country, my whatever, my car, my building, my anything, right? Like that. So this is all, these are all symptoms of one being situated in body consciousness. But one who has full knowledge, and what is that knowledge? The knowledge of soul, knowledge of super soul, the relation between the soul and the super soul, and that is known as self-realization. And so when a person is self-realized, so they are situated above body consciousness. Like I mentioned, tathade hantar praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. Right? That means one who is situated in full knowledge, right? At the time of death, such people are not very bewildered by the change. They see that okay, just as my body is changing from an infant to a child, from childhood to boyhood, boyhood to an adulthood, from adulthood to old age. Similarly, at the old age, I will just quit this body, I'll take another body, right? This is how a self-realized person looks at it. They are not very bewildered by such kind of changes. So that is why knowledge is liberating. So a person situated in complete knowledge is free from the bodily concept of life. Okay, such a person sees every living entity at equal level. That means he or she is seeing the living entity as it is, as a spiritual spark, as a spirit soul. They are not seeing it as a dog or a cat or a human or an Australian or an American or an Indian or something like that. Man, woman, nothing. These kind of dualities, they do not. It does not exist for a person who is free from the body consciousness or who is in full knowledge, right? And such a person, sorry, it should be is. By mistake, I wrote ID. Such a person is eligible candidate for pure devotional service, right? And devotional service cannot be performed as long as one is materially afflicted. Even if there is a slight tinge of material desire within ourselves, right? We cannot carry on the devotional service for a very long time. And that is the reason why we are known as sadhakas, right? We are still not at the stage of devotional service as of now. What we are doing by chanting every day Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are just trying to subdue our mind, right? Control our mind so that all the material desires within us, they get burnt up, right? The kam, krodh, moh, mad, matsare, right? Lobh, mad, matsare. These 5 things, they get burnt up slowly. And then, once we are in that platform of Shuddha Sattva, then we will be in the complete knowledge. We will slowly get rid of this body consciousness, and then we will become eligible to become, perform the devotional services, right? So there are 9 stages of devotion. Actually, we'll see later, what are they. And so there is something known as anartha nivritti, right, which is the 3rd stage. So till we hit that 3rd stage, it's very, very difficult, right? We should not consider that we have made any progress in, devotional services. We are sadhakas right now, and it's better that we consider ourselves sadhakas, right? So that is one thing. We'll move on. So the reference is from 5th chapter, 18th verse, Bhagavad Gita again. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Humble sages, by virtue of knowledge, see with equal vision, a learned, gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, right? Just as I was mentioning that a knowledgeable person, a person who is in complete knowledge of self, they do not see, they're just free from all the dualities, the man, woman, or Australian, American, cat, dog. No, they will simply see the spirit soul within every living entity. Yes. So that is, but here is one very important thing to note. Okay, that just because we are seeing, we are seeing everyone as the living entity, as a spiritual spark, right, as a spirit soul, that doesn't mean that we start treating everyone in an equal way, right? For example, we cannot expect an elephant or a dog to sit in a satsang like this and grab the concepts of Bhagavad Gita and they can start implementing that in their day-to-day lives, right? Only a human can do that, right? A dog or a cow or an elephant, they do not have sufficient intelligence, right? So when I say that, okay, when I give this reference that, okay, a self-realized soul is basically, seeing everyone equally, that means the only point of meditation for that person is what can I do for this person or this living entity in front of me, so that it becomes free, it breaks the cycle of life, death, and rebirth and goes back home, back to Godhead, right? So as I said, we cannot force a dog or an elephant to sit in a satsang like this, but definitely we can feed them Krishna Prasad, right? And if a very high top class devotee, feeds Krishna Prasad to any animal, right? Any spirit soul who is in an animal body, that will be liberated instantly. It will be liberated, right? After quitting the body, I think it will break the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, right? Or if not, at least it will attain a very high destination. It will get a very nice opportunity to break that cycle of life, death, and rebirth, right? So this is how we should our consciousness should be. Okay, so depending upon whom we are interacting with, our meditation should be what can I do for this person or what can I do for this living entity so that it goes back home, back to Godhead. That is the sign of true intelligence. Yes. So moving on. So this knowledge or intelligence, it cannot come to us until and unless we are aware of our constitutional position, right? And this is what it's written here. Complete spiritual concept of life comes only when one understands their constitutional position. Is anyone saying something? Okay, I'll just continue. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so there's a very nice shloka, and I think it's often quoted at ISKCON. Jiver Shrupa Hoy Krishner Nityadas. Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash. That means it is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna, and the manifestation simultaneously one with different from the Lord, like a molecular particle of sunshine or of fire, right? So we all know, we have been reading this concept over and over again, that we are part and parcels of Krishna, which means qualitatively we are same as Krishna, but quantitatively we are very tiny. Krishna is infinite and we are infinitesimal. And very nice, purport Srila Prabhupada has given in the Bhagavad Gita by, citing the example of the ocean and a drop of water from that ocean. So an ocean is also salty, and the drop from that ocean will also be salty. The chemical composition will be the same, but just that the quantity is different. Ocean is very, very vast expanse of water, whereas a drop of water, we can even hold it in our hands, right? So this is our eternal constitutional position. Right? So we need to understand that being the marginal potency of Krishna, we have this little minute amount of independence, the minute amount of free will that has been given to us. That either we can serve Krishna or we can try to enjoy away from Krishna. Unfortunately, all of us sitting here made the wrong choice. We wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. We wanted to enjoy away from Krishna. And once we do that, we are put under the control of the Maya Shakti, or the external potency, or the inferior energy of Krishna. Yes. So just imagine that we have been given this body, which is material. Bhumi rapo analo vayu kha mano buddhi revacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtadha. Krishna says that earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are my 8 separated material energies. And anything that you see around is composed of either all of these 8 or a part of these 8 things, right? So we have been given this material body, which is again composed of all these 8 things, and we are suffering and enjoying according to the karmas that we have done, right? But a spirit soul is never completely different from this body, and that is called the knowledge. Once we come to this particular understanding that the spirit soul is not doing anything apart from desiring, right? Everything else is then done by the 3 modes of material nature. So any happiness, any suffering, any anxiety which is there in our lives, spirit soul is completely detached from that. So once a person comes to this particular understanding, then that person is in full knowledge, and this will come only when we are aware of our constitutional position. We understand that we are eternal part and parcels of Krishna. Because of the misuse of our free will, we have been put into such a condition of life. Yes. So we'll move on. No service, no liberation. So this beautiful picture that you see here in this slide is an artist's impression of how a Vaikuntha planet looks like, right? So if you see here, this is Narayan himself sitting with Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. And these are all Vaikuntha residents or inhabitants, and they are very busy serving the Lord, right? Such a beautiful picture, isn't it? All of us at least want to be here, if not Goloka Vrindavan, right? Okay, so the true devotee of Lord, right? Now this is a very nice thing, very nice topic to discuss basically, and the best person, to personify this whole concept was none other than Krishna himself in form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came here, right? So it is said that devotees are, not even interested in liberation or, getting liberated from this cycle of life, death, and rebirth. What to speak of any material attachments or, anything, right? So what a devotee wants to do, they only want to serve. Because they are in full knowledge, they have come to this understanding that they are like Krishna, Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nityadas. Right? They have understood their eternal constitutional position. So from that point on, their only one point focus is to serve Krishna, to do what Krishna likes, to do what Krishna makes Krishna happy. Right? So such a devotee will deride the concept of even liberation. So they say that, okay, I don't want anything, Krishna. I just want to serve you. It doesn't matter whether I'm serving you in some heavenly planetary system, whether I'm put in hell, okay, fine, I'm okay with that, right? But as long as some service should be there, right? If you give me some kind of a liberation, but after that there is no devotional service, then I don't want such kind of a liberation. That is the mood of a true devotee. On the other hand, if you put me in hell, but there is an opportunity for a devotional service there, fine. I'll go to hell because yes, in hell Yamaraj is there. He is your pure devotee. We'll sit together and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra over there with Yamaraj. Okay, he is one of the 12 Mahajans. Fine, I'll be happy there, right? But I need some kind of service to serve you. And that is the reason why when, there are 5 types of liberations, which we'll, read later in the Nectar of Devotion. And one such is merging with the effulgence or the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord, right? That is something which is completely not wanted by any devotee of a Lord, right? Of the Lord. Because, that is the worst possible thing that can happen. There is no scope for any devotional service merging with the effulgence. You will be just hanging there, right? I mean, Asman se gire khajur pe atke, like that kind of a situation will be there. And somehow by the mercy of the Lord, if you get some more kind of knowledge in the devotional service, then you may enter one of the Vaikuntha planets, but most likely will fall down again to this material world. Why? Because spirit soul is very active by nature. It wants something to do, right? So if you are hanging in Brahmajyoti doing nothing, then what will happen? You will start feeling, yaar, isse acha to wahi tha. Let's go back and lead our material life again. So that's a very, very dangerous thing to do, actually, right? So devotees, they never want a liberation, like merging with the effulgence of Lord or anything. They always hanker for devotional services, right? So a true devotee of the Lord doesn't accept any form of liberation if there is no scope of devotional service after its attainment. So if after attainment devotional service is not there, we will not accept any liberation. Yes. A true devotee is neither interested in material enjoyment, which is known as bhukti, nor in liberation, which is known as mukti. Right? And a pure devotee is even ready to go to hell if an opportunity for devotional service is there. Yes, as I said, Yamaraj is there. He is one of the 12 Mahajans. Fine, we will go there. We'll chant Hare Krishna with him. Right? No problems. So, and very nice verse of Sikshashtakam, the fourth verse of Sikshashtakam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Na janam, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagdisha kamaye, mam janmani janmanishware bhavtat bhakti rahetu pitvahi." Right? O Lord of the universe, I do not desire any material wealth, materialistic followers, beautiful wife or association of beautiful women, or fructive activities described in the flowery language. All I want is life after life is unmotivated devotional service unto you. Right? It's okay if I don't get liberated. I will just keep on serving wherever we are, whether we are in heavenly planetary systems, whether we are in hellish planetary systems, doesn't matter. Right? So another very nice pastime which is coming in my mind right now is about the gopis of Vrindavan. So once it so happened that Narad Muni actually went to Lord Krishna and said, "Why do you discriminate so much between the Vrindavan inhabitants and the people who are in Dwarka? Right? They are also your devotees. They are also serving you very nicely. So what is the difference between them?" So Krishna said, "Okay, we will discuss this later. First, can you help me with something? I am having a headache, and this headache, I'll be relieved of this headache only when I put the dust of the feet of my devotees on my head." Okay. So Narad Muni said, "What are you talking about? Do you even realize what you are saying? If any devotees gives their dust of their feet to you so that you can put it on your head, that devotee will go to hell for that." So Krishna said, "I don't know, you somehow get me in that dust, otherwise this headache is actually killing me." So Narad Muni went around asking. Every single person in Dwarka was so scared that they just denied that okay, no, we can't do this. We'll go to hell. Then he went to the Vaikuntha planets. There also the same thing happened. Okay, I mean, how can we even think of giving Lord the dust of our lotus feet? This is not possible. You please go away. So finally, Narad Muni went to Vrindavan and especially to the gopis of Vrindavan, and he told them that Krishna is having a headache and he is asking for the dust of the feet of the devotees. Immediately, without asking a single question, gopis immediately just started brushing off the dust from their feet, and then they finally collected that dust in a piece of cloth and handed it to Narad Muni and said, "Here it is. Go and please give it to Krishna." Narad Muni was astonished at that point of time, right? He said that, "Do you guys have any idea what you are doing? You can even go to hell because of this, action of yours." Gopis were very cool, and in the cool and calm manner, they replied, "Nothing, no worries. Let us go to hell. I mean, we are even ready to go to hell, provided Krishna is happy with the service." So that is the mood of a pure devotee. That is the mood of the people of Vrindavan. That is the mood of the residents of Vrindavan, right? And that is why it is so difficult to attain. Attaining Vaikuntha planets is not a big deal. Like Krishna and Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is very, very liberal in that sense. That if a person is practicing this four regulative principles nicely, if they are chanting their prescribed number of rounds nicely, it's easy for them to get into any Vaikuntha planets. But to attain Goloka Vrindavan, you have to have the love of God. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. It's not an easy. Of course, it's also mentioned in this Nectar of Devotion that after staying for some time in any of the Vaikuntha planet, a devotee may develop the love of God and they may be promoted to Golok Vrindavan. But just to emphasize on how difficult it is, it's not easy to attain Krishna. Right? It's not easy to attain Krishna. So we'll move on. So this was all about the chapter that we had covered. There was a lot to cover, but since we have only 1 hour, I have just touched upon the most important points. I will just now like to summarize whatever we have learned so far. And I presume that all of you are reading the book very nicely. So please read it very scrutinizingly, because things are hidden between the lines, right? It's not as simple as it seems. So first thing, devotional service is rare, so value it. All of you are very, very special. You know that you have this opportunity now. You have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with you. You have known, what is the ultimate goal of human life, and you have a human form of life, right? This all is a sign of great, great fortune. Please make full use of it. We have already made a bad choice by trying to enjoy away from Krishna, right? Like Srila Prabhupada used to say, we have already made a bad bargain. Now let's make good use, best use of that bad bargain, right? So we are here, and just all we need to do is to chant very nicely, read the books of Prabhupada very nicely, and follow the 4 regulative principles very nicely. That's it. Prabhupada will see us through. Okay. We may not be very qualified to go back home, back to Krishna, but our Guru Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada are way more qualified, right? They can take us back. So with that confidence, we should just keep going, right? Right? Only fortunate souls develop a taste for devotional service. That's one point. Yes, very, very true. Secondly, we have seen the references, Bahunam Janmanamante, Gyanvan Mam Prapadyate, right? Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Right? Then in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That means out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By mercy of both Krishna and spiritual master, such a person receives seeds of the creeper of the devotional service. Right? So all of you, all of us, basically, we are very, very fortunate, that we have this seed now. Now the onus is on up to us that, in a garden, when you plant a seed and that sapling starts, coming up, there is also you must have observed that some wild weeds, they start growing in and around that sapling, right? So that sapling has to be protected from those weeds, otherwise they will take up all the nutrition and the sapling will die off. So similarly, when we come to devotional service, these wild weeds are the popularity that we gain amongst the devotees, right? If we are doing some nice devotional service and someone comes and praises us, we become puffed up, right? So this arrogance, this pride, these are like those wild weeds which are growing around our devotional service. We have to protect our devotional service very nicely from all these things, right? So this can happen only when we are very strong in our sadhana, right? Every morning we should we should wake up, we should take a bath and start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Finish a fixed number of rounds. Try to do it in the morning itself. So do not leave it for the evening time or the night time, right? So if we have this sadhana very nicely, then our devotional service will also be very strong. That creeper will keep on growing, and ultimately it will pierce the layers of this material universe and enter into the spiritual world. It will go straight to Golok Vrindavan and touch the lotus feet of Krishna, right? So this is what is mentioned there. So we have also seen the categories of devotees. Again, it's the repetition of the slides that I showed you earlier. First class devotees, second class devotees, and the neophytes. And then there are 4 kinds of neophytes, right? Chatur Vidya Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukriti Norjuna, Artho Jigyasur Artharthi, Gyani Cha Bharatar Shabha. That means those who are distressed, desirer of wealth, or inquisitive, and one who is wise. These are 4 kinds of neophytes. And what happens when these neophytes, they turn towards Krishna? They ultimately end up becoming pure devotees of Lord. That's why Krishna has called them Mahatmas, right? And then we have seen this also. Bahunam Janmanam. After many, many births, and he who is in full knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Right? So value this devotional service, this bhakti, the seed of bhakti that we all have got, right? We should be very, very thankful, and we should consider ourselves very, very fortunate that, we are the chosen ones, basically. So finally, we saw that pure devotees are not interested in liberation. Yes. So pure devotees derive the concept of liberation. If no devotional service is there, then pure devotees do not seek liberation. And then we saw the fourth verse of Shikshashtakam. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagdisha kamye, mam janmani janmanishware, bhavtad bhaktir ahetuki tvahi. So I would like to pause here. I think we are on time, if I'm not wrong. Yes, we are just on time. We have around 4 minutes. So thank you so much for being so patient and seeing all these slides. I've just tried to put some nice colorful pictures in the slides so that the session is not a boring and monotonous one. Now I would like to open the floor for queries. I see Virendra Prabhu's hand raised. So Prabhuji, if you can unmute yourself and
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu for the wonderful lecture. Okay, I have a question. It is said in Vedanta Sutra, Aham Brahmasmi Atato Brahma Jidnasa. So Aham Brahmasmi, we know that we are spirit soul, but that Atato Brahma Jidnasa. So that is done by devotional service. Means you said devotion is not only devotion, but it should be service. So that Atato Brahma Jidnasa is devotional service onto Krishna. That is, we can say that Sambandha Jnana, Abhideya Jnana, and
exactly.
Prayojan Jnana. Like,
Correct. Yeah, you are right. So as I said that, this one can come into this knowledge, Athato Brahma Jigyasa means to inquire about the Supreme, right? So who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Who is God? What is my relationship with the God, right? So all these things will come only when we are aware of our constitutional position, right? If we are not ready to, imbibe that, if we are not ready to accept that, okay, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then there is no point in further discussion, right? And that is why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said, there's a very nice shloka in the beginning only. He has said, it's we have to be very humble in the approach, when we are trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasya dheta duktam, right? That means we have to be a bhakta, a devotional, a devotee first. And then we have to be sakha cheti. That means we have to be in a non-envious disposition towards Krishna, right? Then and only then we will be able to understand the concept of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, it will be rahasya dheta duktamam. Eternally, it will be like a rahasya, a mystery for everyone, right? So yes, you are right, Prabhu. Yes.
okay, thank you very
Nice
much.
realization, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There is
Prabhu,
one
you can sharing the screen, Prabhu, so we can have a
Yeah.
personal discussion.
Yes. So
Yeah, and devotees, I would request devotees who are asking questions, you can switch on your cameras. So, Prabhuji can also see who's speaking and then answer. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Krishnamurti Prabhu, for darshan and then question. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, thank you, Virendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
we have followed your order, Mataji. I am grateful to you. Thank you.
Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu. Thank you. Because you inspire us, Prabhu. Every questions, they are very inspiring. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Prabhuji, what your kind self has enlightened us today. This lecture must be recorded at ourselves. It is to be maintained in our regular day-to-day life. Yes, because you have mentioned almost all right from Bhagavad Gita and then Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and how to be in the devotional service. So if we go on hearing this lecture regularly, definitely we won't be fallen down from devotional service. So yes, because and I will thankful to you, Prabhuji and Mataji, especially Mataji. We have no voice to talk. I previously I told that she has already seen her goal, and then she won't be leaving us to be kept behind. She used to drag us to
Hare
reach.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, any other devotee has a query? Krishnamurti Prabhu, we are so overwhelmed by your enthusiasm. Please pass on some of the enthusiasm to us also. So we can also practice devotional service nicely. Hare Krishna. Okay, anyone else has any question?
I have a very small question. Why do the impersonalists or the like Shankarites or Advaitwadi why are they so much opposing a personal form of God worship? Means they don't know the personal form of God worship. They don't know Krishna. Means all these like, and how to deal with such type of people. Like,
Yeah. So this is a very good question, that why do they oppose this form of personal worship, and what is the idea behind, so we see that all the impersonalists, their ultimate goal is to merge in the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord, right? So that's why they're known as Mayavadis. So they do not appreciate the physical form of the Lord. Whereas in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find a lot of references, where Krishna himself says that, okay, I am a person, right? And there is my spiritual abode is there, where there is no need for sun, moon, or electricity to illuminate, and it is being illuminated by my own effulgence, right? But if you see that, each and every one of us who is in this material concept of life, right, we are very, very attached to this body and the sense gratification, right? Either we are trying to gratify our own senses, or sometimes in the name of sacrificing our, comforts, we are actually doing some extended self gratification, sense gratification, right? For example, a person may say that, okay, ये सब मैं अपने लिए थोड़े कर रहा हूँ, ये I am doing this for my family, for my kids, right? But then family and kids, they are also, related to you, right? So it is a form of an extended sense gratification, right? So similarly, if we extend this concept to the level of the Mayavadis, what happens that they see that, okay, who is the most supreme personality? Okay, it's Krishna. So what should I do in order to become become supreme? I should just go and merge with him, right? So that is the concept of the Mayavadis. So they just want to merge. So it is a form of an extended sense gratification only, because they want to be the most powerful. So they want to merge with the most powerful entity. Yes. So as devotees, therefore, we are not, interested in, in all such things. We just want pure devotional service. As I said, that even if we go to hell, we will do devotional service with Yamaraj over there, right? But if the opportunity for devotional service is not there, we will not accept any kind of a liberation. Yes. Prabhuji, you are speaking on mute. If you can unmute yourself, please.
okay, yesterday I was reading Krishna book, and
Mhm.
Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book has mentioned, since we are in the material world and everything is has a form, so the impersonalist think that how can the spiritual world have a form? There is
Yes.
no form in the spiritual world. It is all impersonal because the form is in the material world present. So how can God have a form? So they have
Yeah.
that concept. So it is,
Yeah.
so God is impersonal. So that is
Yeah.
their concept.
Yes.
Like Prabhupada has written it, and Shankaracharya has the same concept. Like that he has written. Like Prabhupada has written.
Yeah. Let's stick to Srila Prabhupada. Okay. We'll not discuss the other sampradayas here. But yeah, what we read in the books of Prabhupada, what we read in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we will stick to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Anyone else?
Tatpagali Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful session. Prabhuji, the one doubt I'm having, you said that Krishna Prasadam can be given to the dogs, cows, and all. No, and as I was instructed that not the Krishna Prasadam should not be given to the lower animals, and it should be given to the human only. That I want to clarify.
I don't know
You
like
told-
from where the concept has come, Mataji, but as far as I know that everyone, like at Krishna consciousness, as I said, we see people at the level of spirit soul, right? We do not discriminate based on the bodies that they are having, right? Man, woman, Australian, American, cat, dog, whoever, everyone is entitled to practice Krishna consciousness. And our only consciousness should be that what can I do for this particular living entity so that they can go back home, back to Godhead, right? So in order to do that, we can definitely feed Krishna Prasadam. This is what I have learned from my Siksha Gurus. So from that authority, I am saying here.
Yeah, I used to chant that Hare Krishna Mahamudra to my pets, Prabhuji. When I'm
Absolutely,
talking,
that's
I'm
very, very auspicious, Mataji. Like, even
I used to chant
yeah.
them. See, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I used to tell them. I used to pet them then, and then they will wag their tail and then come along with me. I will tell them like that. Then my husband only will say, Prasadam and all, don't put to the lower way. He will say, that's only I'm asking.
So please dispel all these doubts. What you are doing is very auspicious, Mataji. You are actually helping, such forms of life who actually have no hope. If we don't do that, then who else will do it, right? So please go ahead with what you are doing. You are doing something very auspicious. And
Thank
I'm
you, Prabhu.
really happy, to know that you are practicing all these things. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I had a friend and she had a parrot. Whenever you enter the house, the parrot will say Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I was about to say that, Mataji. A lot of people they get pet parrots and then they make them chant Hare Krishna. Yes. Nice.
And Prabhuji, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had once given prasad to a dog, and immediately the dog went to a spiritual skull.
Yeah, and when he was going through forest of Jharkhand, he actually made every animal chant and dance in ecstasy. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah. And
Hare
once
Krishna.
Nityanand Prabhu, he got hold of a crocodile and said, "I'll not going to leave you until and say Hare Krishna." So say Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Wonderful
So,
class.
yeah, I think it's time now. It's almost 12:40, so we would just end here, and I'll see you all again soon. It's very, I'm really humbled, that all of you are helping me actually, to progress nicely in Krishna consciousness. Please keep turning up for these sessions. These are very enriching, not just for you all, but also for us as speakers, because we also learn so much, when we discuss Krishna consciousness together. So devotee association is very important. Thank you so much, all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
so much,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
for the
Pranam,
wonderful
Hare
class,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Dandavat
Very wonderful
Pranam.
class, Prabhuji.
No problem.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपैश्च च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. Thank Sri Abhinav Prabhu, very wonderful session today. Please join us tomorrow morning 11:25 a.m. We start with chapter number 4 of Nectar of Devotion. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And we also urge the devotees kindly go through the book in details. Right? What we are discussing is just probably the tip of the iceberg, right? As an overview session. Please go through the entire textbook, and if you have any doubts, you may post it in the groups, and we'll try to get the speakers to answer your questions. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare
Hare
Bol.
Bol.
Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Pranam, Mataji.